Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar session. Today, we will be covering both DevOps and ITIL 4. Today's webinar is called It Takes Two to Tango. My name is Alexander Mazurek with Quint Wellington Redwood, and I'll be your host during today's session. Now, there's a few things to cover before we get started. That is myself over there on the left, along with today's presenter, Claudine. We'd just like to let everybody know that all the audio is being transmitted by your computer today. You're muted. We are not, obviously, but we do give you an opportunity to voice yourself during any point of this presentation. There is a questions panel on your screen. If you have a question at any point, go ahead and address it in that panel, and we'll have a designated session at the end of the webinar in which we will read the questions aloud, and Claudine will answer the questions for all to hear. And last off, if you need to leave early for any reason, we are recording today's webinar, and everyone who joined will be sent a link to view a recording later on. Now, just a few quick things about Quint if you're new to us. Quint is actually one of the founding members of DASA, which is a DevOps Agile Skills organization. And as a training organization, we train over 30,000 professionals annually all over the world, from everything from DevOps to ITIL, Prince to COBIT, and all the other sort of IT-related certifications that are out there. And these are the 6 key areas in which we help organizations. We help them, of course, organize their IT, blend the technology with their business, innovate across their business ecosystems, transforming to high performance. A lot of that has to do with DevOps. Also, in relating back to ITIL as well, we help organizations be smart with their data. And last off, we help them digitize their products and their services. And without any further ado, I'm going to hand things over to today's presenter, Claudine Kors. We're very lucky to have her with us today. Claudine, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Alexander. Nice for you you're here in this webinar today. Today I have the possibility to talk to you about 2 things that passionate me, that passionate about working in teams and get things done, and how this best practices help us in this. So the agenda we put together for you is why ITIL and DevOps help strike balance, how ITIL relates to DevOps, the career benefits of being a DevOps service management professional, and the recommendation or the certification schemes from ITIL and DASA. Let's go to the first one, which is why ITIL and DevOps help strike balance. There are 2 things that I want to mention here on this slide. Is DevOps complements ITIL, and why ITIL complements DevOps. In DevOps, increasing the rate of change is not the only goal, but it also demands deploying features in production without creating any confusion and disturbance on other active services. So it puts focus on detecting and correcting incidents as soon as possible. And so considering these goals, DevOps relates to the ITIL service value system. And what is true about that ITIL and ITSM are the best in defining rules for practices supporting the delivery of services to customers. It's compatible, DevOps, with ITSM, because it describes many skills that are required for IT operations to support DevOps style work stream. So what does ITIL provide? A structured way of thinking about services and value, a perspective on idea on service value system. As you know, in ITIL 4, there is a focus on the practices, the practice we do, delivering the services and delivering the value. There is also a line of business in IT about how we work together to get the best value of the services. And it helps in better reliability and quality of services. And DevOps provides collaborative working. And you see people developing software and building systems, working together with people operating the systems, and be able to monitor and log and repair our system when they break. And it's possible to continuously fast deployment rates. It's faster feature delivery, a lot of automation. There's a focus on what comes first, what's the important work to do first. And of course, it's the environmental stability what DevOps provides. And basically, the ITIL practices ensure the cohesion in the application of DevOps. So that's why DevOps and ITIL need each other. Some examples here of activities you do in DevOps teams, like service requests, incident management, availability management, capacity management, practices you see in ITIL. problem management, change management, service level management, and the relevance of that in DevOps. You see service requests are handled in teams, preferably in self-service and automation. Incident management, of course, incidents are solved in DevOps teams, and we try to do that in prevention and automation. So just to name a few. And you see some other points here, examples from that, for example, in self-service tool, or automated restart or automated updates and configuration management, because in DevOps teams, it is important to have the basic information, the services you provide with your team, to make it possible to do the right impact analysis and to be able to deliver new software into production environments. So as you can see, these activities are activities you have seen in the past in ITIL, or you see also now as practice come back in ITIL 4. And that's the same as we see also in the DevOps teams, in our customers and clients and students. We help implementing DevOps. So how do ITIL 4 relates to DevOps? Just to tell you a little bit about the ITIL evolution, ITIL started in 1980s, and it was about, okay, how does good IT looks like? How should we organize IT? The first books were published in 1989. And the books at 2000 were about service, delivery, and support. That was the ITIL 2 version for those who still remember that. And after that, the focus of processes was moved to the service lifecycle. Then you had the strategy, design, transition, and operation and continuous improvement. There was a little release in 2011, in 2016, the ITIL practitioner came out where the guiding principles came. And now the new thing in ITIL 4 is that it provides a guidance organizations need to address changing service management challenges and utilize the potential of modern technology. So it's the focus on the service value system. So from processes to life cycle to really the value system to value. That's what you see in the books that are released during the years. So it's the next ITIL 4 is the next iteration, incorporates all the best things from ITIL as it's known today, and it spans IT and service operations to a new level. So you see Agile is mentioned also in ITIL 4, the new practice of Lean, the service value chain, COVID principles, governance, risk and compliance, automations, the focus of value streams and value chains. So moving from a more traditional process-led delivery, ITIL 4 supports faster quality and value-driven delivery for people and organizations. I just wanted to put you the little picture of what Axel has put in the new books for ITIL 4 from service value chain, where you see here, these are the practices or the activities in which the practices do certain activities. So it's the central elements of the service value chain and operating model, which outlines the key activities required to respond to demand and facilitate value through the creation and management of products and services. So, for example, if you have an incident and you want that to be solved, of course, there's an engagement with maybe the product owner if you have a DevOps team, or maybe a user if you're in contact with them, or a tester, or functional application manager, and explains to you what's happening or what they are experiencing, and then you try to see if you can restart the service, or it automatically already restarted the service, or you have to build something new to repair the incident. So there's different activities in delivering this value. And the nice thing in ITIL 4 is there are still processes, but the focus are more on practices, because you do different activities in your DevOps team. And it's not necessary in all cases to have a complete process that looks after the connection between different departments, because you have a multidisciplinary team in which you're already constructing, building, delivering, operating a service. So that it means that it's less necessary to have complete bureaucratic processes and be more lean in the delivery of value. So if we look at the traditional ways that a release was built in the past, you had to design, build, test, and implement. When Lean started to get more involved in IT, so Lean IT, it looks at the value stream and it eliminates waiting time and rework. So educating specialist team members so they can participate in all steps, create a perfect flow and instant reaction to demands. So you have the design, build, test in a single piece flow, and you try to be as lean as possible in that. When we look at the contribution of Agile, it added the idea of getting there in short iterations. So learning and adapting each time you deliver a new service, and each time adding value in each iteration. So you have, maybe we have to redo this, Alexander.
That's no problem. So this slide right here, influence of Lean Agile DevOps.
Because it's just not stopping me at screen. Yeah, let me go back to the previous slide and do the whole slide all over, right? Slide 15.
What's it doing?
It was pushing me the recordings of my agenda. Didn't you see that?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was actually on another screen. I was responding to an email. So no, I didn't see what happened. Oh, so you had like notifications from like a calendar or something?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah. We need to. Yeah, we can't have that. So yeah. So we'll restart here.
Yeah.
Okay. Start again whenever you're ready. I'm going back on mute.
Okay, so if we look at the influence of Lean Agile DevOps on IT service management, traditional release would have done by different specialist teams. You have the people who design the services, then they hand over to the people who build the services, to the developers in the software area, and probably you have an area that tested the software because of compliancy, regulation, that should be separate teams, and then probably you have an operation area that implements. And the thing was that traditionally, it takes a lot of time to completely implement new releases or new changes or new services, as the releases were very big and they could have a big impact on also operations. So if something get down, it could have taken a long time to build it, but also to repair it or to find what really was wrong in the software before you can repair it. When Lean took set the value stream, it started to look at how can we eliminate waiting time and rework. So the handovers, how can we reduce the handovers? And maybe we have to think more at single piece flow. Design and build it, test and implement it. Design and build and test and implement it. Trying to get a specialist team member to participate in all steps and create a more perfect flow, search for an ultimate flow. If you look at how Agile added the added idea of getting there in short iterations. So every time you learn and adapt in the design, build, test, implement phase. And every time you do that, you also add value in each iteration. So, and after that, if you look at DevOps team, they also automated release in the virtual cloud environment, and resulting that you can almost continuously release. So you have this continuous delivery, and it includes also operational support. So you design, build, test, implement, and operate it. Design, build, test, implement, and operate it, as there are a lot of companies that can release every second if they want to. And because the releases are so small, the impact of an incident is very small. And probably you feed forward and you have already restored to the previous version or already repaired the error you made in your software. So this is how things of Lean Agile DevOps worked on service management. So if you look at the career benefits for being a DevOps service management professional, what do we see? You see that because a lot of companies come from classical IT hierarchy, some are already a step more mature in leaving the hierarchy behind, but they're also still areas consisting of silos. They need formal processes to manage services. And you see that in the past, and in a lot of companies still do, have process managers, process owners, KPIs, and resulting in a complex metrics organization. So if you organize your building of service and delivering of service in modern IT service teams like a DevOps team, you're more closer integrated with the customer. You can react on specific demands directly in an informal way and react on put it in a backlog or trying to put it in the next version of your services. There's support and deployment in one team. There's even a server software virtually in the cloud, and challenges to maintain common strategy and governance, because before you know it, you have all different businesses in your company. But it's another challenge than we had in the classical IT hierarchy. So the ITIL 4 answer to this was that, as most organizations have a mixed, so they have areas centralized and they have still legacy systems. Not processes are no longer required. There are some already multidisciplinary teams. You need less processes, and now it's called an IT4 practices. So you solve an incident, you release a new software to production, you update your configuration. And so apply ITIL4 according to what the organization, team, or service really needs. That means that, well, at least you reduce a lot of waste. I remember that there are some change processes, and people say, oh, our change process in our organization is so bureaucratic. How can we change that? How can we make sure that change management really applies to what we need in the organization? I have to go with all my changes to an intake, and people are taking the intake of my changes. They don't even know about it, but my team does, because we are a DevOps team and we know about the changes. So then you see that nowadays a lot of change managers do a value stream analysis of the process and try to make it more lean. And they do come more to practices and less to process management, where they cut a lot of redundant or activities that really don't add any value. So a DevOps team can use ITIL practices to standardize and formalize, and it helps to get them, but it is more activities, as I shown in the previous slide. And ITIL helps automate and collaborate with other teams to manage end-to-end services. So if you need different kind of teams to deliver a service or deliver value to your customer, it helps coordinate between these teams. So if you are in the crossroads and trying to find out what would be for me the next step for my career, then having a profound understanding of both DevOps and service management will help you as a professional to guide your organization in the DevOps journey. As we see, as many companies at least have 1, 2, or maybe many DevOps teams, it helps to understand both worlds and to help your organization mature in the DevOps journey, to help automate more services, to help reduce waste in certain processes that really are no longer of any added value. So if we look at the certification that ITIL, Axelos, and DASA, the DevOps Agile Skills Association, offer, I can show you the next. For DASA, which is the DevOps Agile Skills Association, we have the DASA DevOps Fundamentals, and the DASA DevOps Professional Enable and Scale, and the DASA DevOps Product Owner, which we offer as a course, and you can certify yourself with an official worldwide recognized certification. The same goes for the Axelos certification on ITIL. The ITIL 4 Foundation is already available for students to follow and to certify themselves in. And the next one you see on the slide, which is the specialist on create, deliver, support, stakeholder value, high velocity, plan, improve, and digital and IT strategy. They're currently in construction, and we expect the coming months to be released. So if you're interested, keep track on all the changes Axelos and Quint is publishing, and you will go in a new ITIL 4 scheme. So if you have interest, please follow us, go and certify yourself, and make sure that you are aware of all the new changes, that you are aware and able to guide your company in the DevOps journey they're currently in. And this is what I had wanted to explain to you today. And we have some time for questions and answers. Alexander, did you receive any questions?
We did receive a few during the course of the presentation, and thank you for the excellent presentation, Claudine. The first question that we have here is, can you further explain how DevOps helps eliminate waste from ITSM processes?
Yeah, what you see is that as organization transit from a classical hierarchical process-oriented or matrix structure, you see that there are some non-value added activities in processes which are no longer needed because people work together in one team. So how does it help is that at least ITIL response to that was be aware that not always all processes need to be fully implemented. Make sure you only implement processes where it's needed cross silo or cross department. But that doesn't you still need to resolve incidents, you still need to deploy software or services to production environment. So that will still be relevant, only you might not need any processes for that. I hope that solves the question, Alexander.
Okay, no, thank you for the answer, Claudine. The next question here is, our organization has been doing ITIL for years. Where should we begin with DevOps?
Oh, that's a nice question, complicated one as well. Probably you need an urgent goal or an objective why you want to do that. Is your customer want to release more frequently in production? Does he want to adapt more quickly to changes in the market? Do they want to reduce costs? What is the objective of it? Try to find out. And try to work with some teams to see how it works together. If you can work together with developers, testers, designers, and people in operation to a small piece of services to start there. Of course, I can tell you it's an open door. Go to our courses and you will know more. But that's where you generally see in a lot of companies that try to just start with a team, start to combine people, let them work together more closely, give them common goals, give them an assigned assignment on developing a service and operating the service. Make sure you have autonomous team they can take the full responsibility for end-to-end from service. Make sure the team is complete and fully dedicated to that service, and start from there.
All right. No, excellent, Claudine. And the next question we have is, change management for us is a challenge. How is this better achieved in DevOps?
Yeah, change management is a challenge. Let me be straight on that one. The goal that did in ITIL is, of course, reduce risk. Reduce risk of unavailability of change in your operational environment. And the answer of DevOps is several. First of all, if you can reduce as much as handovers and as much as manual activities in your processes, you will also reduce the possibility that things go wrong. So automation is an answer from DevOps. The other thing in DevOps, which is an answer, is you have the people together to really evaluate the impact of the changes and the risk of the changes. So probably the team knows a lot more about the changes. So you really, what you do with change management in a DevOps environment, you put the responsibility there where it belongs. And the responsibility of evaluating your change, to reducing risk, to evaluating the impact of changes to the team that is doing the changes. And they can always go a change advisory board, but they will only go with the changes that they probably affect other services, or changes that will affect several areas and that makes the change is more lean and reduces unnecessary steps in the process.
All right. It looks like we have a couple remaining questions. One of them are a little bit specific. So I think what we'll do here is I'll forward the remaining questions onto Claudine directly, and you'll receive an answer via email later on. But I think we need to wrap up today in the essence of time. I just want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for learning today about ITIL, DevOps, how they relate together. And if for any reason, if you have any further questions after something happens, after this webinar that inspires you, you can feel free to reach out to us directly. Our website is www.quintgroup.com. And you can also feel free to reach out to Claudine directly if you have any questions. I know she loves to talk about this sort of subject. So feel free to reach out to her as well. I'd like to thank you all for joining again today. Have an excellent day.
Thank you, Alexander.
And I'll just edit the rest of this out. So I think that will just about do it for us, Claudine. Do you feel okay with that? With the presentation, how it went?
I don't know. I feel I was reading more slides in some moments, and I don't know. Did you record the time? I was mistaken, right?
Well, it's hard because I have to take. I can't remember exactly how much we left out when we needed to redo that one slide. How much I'm going to need to edit out, but I think we're right in the neighborhood of about 30 minutes total. So
yeah, it says here 28 minutes and 65 seconds now. So we're probably on 20 minutes. Is that too few?
I mean, we can make it work. I mean, I don't think we want to put content just for content's sake, in the webinar. I think we want it to be as long as it needs to be. So do we want to
stuck in the English, but I'm not sure if you hear that.
I mean, I didn't know. Everybody I talk to with Quint, is a Dutchie, so it's just like I'm used to it, I guess. Maybe it's
you don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think I do. I don't think I hear any of the mistakes anymore, and I understand what everybody's trying to say. So I don't know.
And I speak Spanish all the day. It's even worse.
If you would feel better about doing, taking another day to sort of like think about it, and now that you've done it one time, we can redo it, sometime, this week or early next week. I am concerned with quality. I would, if you think you can do it better, I'd be happy to do it again with you.
Yeah, or maybe you just send me with the recording and I check it, and if it's complete waste, I will do it over again.
No, I can do that too. So what I can do, yeah, I will do that. How about that? How about I'll just send you the link to the recording right now. I won't even edit it. And you can tell me what you think, and if you want to do it better, we can do it better on another day. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. Maybe I'm just critical. I could be, but sometimes I was getting loose from the slide, and it was good because the speed and the words were better. And sometimes I was just stuck at the slide and just reading the slide, and I don't like reading the slides because that's just sending the slides for their listener would be the same.
No, I completely agree, and I like doing the same thing. Well, how about this? I'll send you the recording right now. It should process in the next 30 minutes or so, and then I'll send you the link that you can watch it. And then I'll let you make the decision. If you want to do it again, we do it again. But if you think it's good enough, we'll go with it. Okay. Good. Okay. Yes. All right. Well, thanks, Claudine. I hope everyone's having fun playing ping pong and in the pool. And
yeah, it's not a pool. Eh? We live in Holland. Is surrounded by lakes and rivers, and
of course.
So the thing is, the water is not clear. So if something happens, I cannot find the kids again if they're below the water. So that makes me a little bit more nervous. So I told them, get out of the water. I need you here now.
I understand. All right. Well, then you enjoy. I'll send you over the link shortly, and then if we need to pick another day to do it again, we will do that.
Yeah, I'm happy
But
with the
thanks.
slides though. I think the slides are okay.
I agree. I know. I like the slides as well, and I think the information's good.
They're good, they're
But
concise. Yeah.
I'm sorry you cut out there. What did you say?
No, it's maybe a lot of information on the slides, but it was enough for 20 minutes. So that's enough for me, really.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then
Okay.
I'll send it over to you, and
Yeah.
you let me know. I'll let you go now, and you have a nice evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Claudine. Bye bye.